Guys, is there anything in my teeth? Let's rock. Okay. Welcome back to Carry On Fire Family. I think that's the name of this podcast, right? Yeah. Okay. Today's guest is Christina Cooley-Berry, agent and founder of Inner Gold Accounting and Tax Services. Y'all, I have been talking about life insurance, trust, all those things for the last couple of weeks. This is going to kind of wrap it all up, if you will. Christina brings a compassionate coach-style approach to tax planning, helping individuals and business owners move beyond the once-a-year accountant relationship into intentional year-round financial clarity, which is huge. She's been married to an active firefighter for over a decade, with more than 30 years of service in the fire service shaping their family's life. Like many fire spouses, Christina once struggled to find connection and support, and through podcasts like this and Instagram pages, she was able to find a sense of belonging and community. Go us. Today, she joins us with both professional expertise and lived experience, culturally competent, to talk about financial planning, retirement readiness, and the emotional and mental side of preparing for life after a career of service. We're honored to have her as part of the conversation and as this community. So let's get into it. Christina, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm excited to talk to you today. I cannot shut up about life insurance and trust and all the things recently. So this is a very good wrap up to those conversations that I've been having. But first of all, before we jump into, the boring stuff, but the very much needed stuff, why don't you tell me a little bit about you? You mentioned in your bio that you sent over to me that you really were kind of struggling and you felt alone early on as a firewife. Tell me what that was like for you.
Man, it was so interesting because at that point in my life, I had over 10 years of sobriety under my belt. So I felt like I was really good about asking for help, finding community that I could relate to. And being a firewife, I realized I didn't have anybody. I really didn't know anybody. My husband commutes to the department that he works for. It's about 2.5 hours away. So in the sense, I never really did a whole bunch of community stuff together with any of the other guys. And since we both don't drink and he just does it by choice, all of the events and whatnot seem to be wrapped around that kind of, activity. So
Yes.
I felt totally isolated and totally unrelated to many, many people, any other friends I have just could not understand.
It's so interesting. I mean, we could probably just turn this whole podcast into a conversation around alcohol and firefighting because
Yeah.
for some reason it just goes hand in hand with every activity that they do outside of work.
hmm
So congrats on your sobriety because that is
Thank you.
amazing
Thank you.
and really cool that your husband voluntarily chooses not to drink. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
occasional drink I get, but the whole idea and premise of social outings having to be involving some kind of substance is always a wild concept to me.
Yeah.
Um, but kudos to you, man. That's
Thank you.
huge.
And that's the
So,
thing, I don't care if people drink and you do
mhm.
whatever you want to do. It's really great. I just love the fact that it's being normalized now to put the mocktails on the menus and, and let people they just don't want to drink. Like, it's okay. And nobody needs to be weird about it.
Yes.
I promise I'm more fun this way. You don't want to know me back then.
Right? And it's like, I don't need this in order to have a good time either.
Sure.
Yeah. You've been married to your firefighter for a long time, more than a decade?
Decade this year, actually.
Decade this year. Oh, congrats.
Thank
That's so
you.
fun.
It's so good.
So was he a firefighter when you got married?
Yes. Yes. So this is
Okay.
both of our second marriages. And
Okay,
then,
yeah.
he started
Rocking.
really young. So he has actually 33 years now
In the service?
in the service. Yeah.
Girl, when's he
I
gonna
know.
retire?
I And that's always a loaded question for him because he is one of the older,
Mhm.
but he doesn't look, it's so funny. We have an age gap, but he looks so young for his age. I'm just so impressed. But he hates that question when people ask him. And I realized that, I needed to stop asking him that question. He literally will come
Uh,
home one day and he'll say to me, "I retired today." And I will not know. I'll just be like, "Great, awesome, let's go." It's just like,
wait, that's
that's it.
so funny. There's
Yeah.
been a few guys in my husband's department who literally have like gone into work and then just been like, "Nope, today's my last day,"
Yep. Yeah.
and just walked out, and their
Yeah.
wives had no idea. And
Yeah.
it was like, I mean, good for him, and I guess as long as he can keep doing it, right, and he's happy,
Yeah.
more power to him.
I mean,
It's
that's the thing. That's the identity pull, in all of our guys, right? It's who they
mhm,
are. And it's what I learned too is just it's really not for me to decide for him, even though we're
yeah.
married and even though it affects me. And it's such a big element of him that I can't I just want to support him when he makes that decision for himself because he knows that it's going to be right for him and for us. As long as he does it at the end of the tax year, we're good. That's the only
That's so
pick
good though.
first. That's like,
That's that's so supportive of you to say, like, it's not about me. It's about
uh
him. It's his career. It's his, overall, it's his decision when he's
yeah.
gonna, obviously he's gonna include you in the discussion, but like they're
Hmm.
not telling you when to quit and they're not telling you when to retire. Same
Right.
same thing for us. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna ask and I'm gonna harass you and be like, I want to go travel and do all these things, but it's still gonna be on their terms and we have to be okay with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love that
Absolutely.
support.
Hmm.
All right, let's talk about all things retirement and long-term planning and what do you do when you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to start? Where do you go? Like what's the first thing you tell people who are trying to like start down this path of long-term planning?
That it takes time, that you
Yeah.
have to know that this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And you can only take bite-sized steps at a time. And you really need to plan that. Like I'm talking at least years, 5 years, maybe 10 years. Like that's realistic, because otherwise it feels too much too fast. It's so overwhelming. You're going to burn out. It's just so much information to know. And not only just on the financial side, but also on the mental side,
Mhm.
and especially in our community, going back to my husband's retirement, I always thought that the retirement was the answer, right? It was like, okay, so once you retire, everything's going to fall into place and everything's going to be better. It's because of the job that it's causing all this riff or all these things. And I realize that it has really nothing to do with that, and there's no fix by that date that everything's gonna be like, cushion and easy and rainbows. So and we really got kind of thrown into the gist of that because he had a heart attack in 2018. That was right
Mm.
after his shift. So going back to what you're saying, or what you asked initially, is just that it takes time and that you have to be in it for the long run. And as long as you have somebody there to hold your hand and help guide you through it, like an advisor, a tax professional, and then a financial advisor that really takes it to heart. Like, I'm not talking about somebody that, gives you a bunch of information and then you're on your way and you got to figure it out. I mean, somebody that really gets it and can be relatable and really helps you with the scenarios. So, like, will stay in that step with you until you really are able to move on to the next one. Does that make
So
sense?
what you're saying is those ones that, hand you all the info and then probably not the best for us, right?
I mean, to me, in my experience, that
Yeah.
has not been helpful
Yes.
because I
No.
sit there and I'm like, okay, then why didn't I could just, look this up online. I need somebody that's real with me, that really gets in it with me, that makes me understand, this is the scenario, these are the consequences, and then works with me wherever we are, wherever your situation is and how you've set up your retirement or your tax planning. And then we go from there. It's like
Yep.
you don't need to get to the perfect spot and then start planning. We need to plan from where we're at. And that's been my approach in our tax business is just more advisory first. And I'm almost more like a coach than anything else. And I
Yeah.
don't like seeing people once a year. Like, I want to see them throughout the whole year. We're making check-ins, we're making sure we're hitting marks and goals. And if we get to a goal and it's been shifted because life happens, then we're going to work with what we got, right? And so I'm not mad at you, I'm not shaming you. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader and like get you to the next stage from where the position is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and this is basically the opposite of any financial advisor I've ever talked to in my life. So this is fun for me because
I know.
you I mean, and no shame to the financial advisors either. Like I
No.
get it. You know, you have a lot of clients. Sometimes you just got to run through it and you don't get that personal touch, that one-on-one. So this is really cool. You kind of set them up with a plan and you coach them and you check in with them, which I think is awesome. I think that's very beneficial, especially in first responder world where stuff is constantly changing. The kids are growing up, you're at a different stage in your life. Maybe you bought a house, maybe you have extra cash now where you need to, put it somewhere. Um, it's great to have somebody just like on speed dial or know that you have an appointment coming up with people like Christina where you can just go, "Hey, I got this new thing. What
Yeah.
do I do with this?" Right?
Right. Yep.
Tell me about like some financial blind spots you see specifically with first responder families.
Oof. I see the spouses, whether
Mhm.
that is husband, wife, partners. I see them, one person takes care of one side and the other person is just thinking everything's okay, and doesn't get involved the way that they should. Which ultimately creates this assumption of what the actuality looks like, and the avoidance really can be detrimental. And I see a lot of things come up in the middle of meetings, that one person didn't understand or didn't know, or wasn't communicated or actively didn't get involved with. And, it takes the partnership for both of them to be on the same page. And I always really coach people to remember what's on the other side of fear, because that's a lot of like where it's stemming from, where people don't want to like, they avoid getting to know what their financial situation actually looks like, or retirement or tax, because they're so fearful of the answer. But it doesn't mean
Mm.
that it's going to change the answer where you're at, right? But what's on the other the other side of fear is confidence, right? So once we get through that fear, we have this confidence and we have this knowledge and strength in where we are. And it's just like, you got to remember that going through it. And growth is uncomfortable, right? So going through fear is really uncomfortable, but I promise I'll cheer you on and hold your hand through it, because it's so much more um gratifying and freedom to know, okay, this is where we are together. This is where we want to go. These are the steps we're going to get there. And we both have a job to, be involved in this process together. And it's so good. So that's my biggest thing, is that people need to get on the same page and get really involved with what's happening in their finances and in their tax,
Great, that's it.
situation.
That's the podcast. Okay. No, just kidding. Y'all, if you take
Done.
anything from this podcast, that is exactly it. It's like it can't be one-sided. I
No.
mean, if you share it, you share an account, you share a home, you should both know what's going on inside
Yeah.
the home, inside those accounts, all of those things, right? Like
Hmm.
I think we hear it a lot. Um, and it's almost kind of like a running joke where it's like, you know, I mean, I think I even do it too. It's like, he does this, so I do this.
Yeah.
Like, my running joke for a long time was like, my husband doesn't even know how to get into the bank account.
Yeah,
Well, he does
that's
now,
normal.
okay?
That's totally normal. Yeah, yeah.
But he does now
Oh, good.
because he needs to know, okay?
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
stuff like that where it's like, yeah, do I need to know how to work the pool pump? No, not necessarily, but when he's gone all the time and something happens, I should probably know just the basics, right?
Mm,
So if you kind of put it like that in layman's terms where it's like,
yeah.
yeah, you don't need to maybe necessarily like do everything, but you need to know how just in case, right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
And and that's for all things, right? So Especially when it comes to your, like, long-term investments and planning, you need to at least know how. Like, you need to
Yeah.
know how to access those things. You need to know, like, the basics of them. You need to have your name on it as well, okay?
Yeah.
Like
Yes, and understand what the consequences of not having that, you know? I mean, whenever people have to go through, let's say, probate, the real reason of probate is because you didn't get your shit together. Like, and that you're having somebody else now doing what you should have done. I mean, that's really what probate is, you know? And then you
Yes.
lose control of your assets and, you know, all sorts of things. And it goes to maybe something that maybe you didn't want it to go to, or, you know, allocated to something else. And it cost a lot of money. It's like,
Yeah.
so that's what I think is funny when you think of like the cost of, you know, hiring a professional that like actually gets you the real, you know, groundwork of what you need. They're going to be more probably more expensive, but in the long run, they're going to save you money, you know, and get you better prepared. It's like sending somebody into a football game with no pads, you know, it's like what you think's going to happen if you're not prepared for that game, you know, you're going to get your ass kicked. So it's definitely something that, you know, we got to get involved, we got to be proactive, and you've got to compartmentalize, you know, which our spouses do so great, compartmentalize the death or like the uncertainty or whatever is, you know, the hard part and the emotional part to the business of getting your stuff in order, right? So that's two separate things. And once you have your stuff in order, it feels so good because once those things happen, you got a roadmap of like what to do, right? So
Yes.
that is so important, and to grieve. I mean, or to, you know, to go through the motions. Like, for
Yes.
instance, why it touches my heart so much is that when I was 21 years old, my dad was an economics teacher, hence why I got so, you know, into
Makes sense.
accounting and
Mhm.
tax world. So he had me saving when I was 8 years old. It was just, you know, and all I wanted to do was eat gummy bears and buy gummy bears or something, you know, with my money. And he was like, you got to save for retirement. I'm like, really? Like, and he walked his talk. He was amazing. He was a coach. He was a
Love
huge
that.
part of this community. And he went in 54 years old, 1 year into retirement, did all the right things, went into a routine back surgery and didn't make it. And he passed away on Saturday. So
Oh,
huge, huge, right? One thing that happened was both my parents were teachers. And so they had that option of their pension, very similar to our firefighters,
yeah.
where you get to choose either the survivor benefit, which is a lower benefit, you know, premium that you get paid out for, but the survivor gets, you know, lifetime payments from that, or the bigger payment, the solo payment and the individual payment. And that's what he had. So my mom lost all of it, lost all
Oh.
the whole gamut, all the years of planning and everything. It was
Mm.
just heartbreaking for her,
Oh
you
my
know? And
gosh.
I
Yeah.
think that's also one of the big things for people is that they have to realize what they're choosing in the pension itself, right? So,
Yes.
and that's a huge conversation because then we always have these big, strong, you know, spouses that think, well, no, we're going to take the bigger payment because I'll outlive you and it will be fine. It's no problem. And then it creates so much havoc when they don't, you know, and something happens and then that is just wiped from everything. And people, I
Yeah.
think spouses don't realize that at all.
I honestly don't know if a lot of spouses, I mean, and even firefighters, to be honest, are aware that there are boxes that need to be checked on
Yes.
those, like, at all. I think, I
Mhm.
mean, I remember when my husband first got hired, like, the PERS representative came in and ran through some things with him real quick and was like, "Okay, cool, all done."
Mhm. Yeah.
And I was like, "Wait, what? What did you just sign? What do I
What's
get? Like,
happening?
what?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, oh my gosh, and it's one of those things where it's, you're new hire, you go through the onboarding process, and it's like, "Okay, check the box, move on, move on, move on," but there's so much more that you need to know. And I
Mhm.
think for, like, fire families, especially, and first responder families, we are so hyper aware of the potential of something happening to them at work that for me, and maybe, for you too, probably because, we have the insurance and financial background where it's like, we know and we've seen firsthand what happens if the correct boxes aren't checked and if, they don't have the life insurance lined up and they don't have all of the things squared away. Not only, like you said, is grief just the processing of, them potentially being gone. Now you got to deal with all this other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I had Rachel Hurd on a couple weeks ago, and we had that same conversation. Her husband passed away, very unexpected, and she was like, even though we had everything in place, there was still stuff that was missing out of it that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
So it was easy, but there was still, some things that were still complicating. And, but she was like, I'm so grateful for just having had the conversations and, having make sure that those boxes were checked and that I
Mhm.
understood just in case, because her just in case became a reality. And that,
Mm.
you know, we don't wish that on anybody. Talking about it doesn't mean that that's going to happen either. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like,
Yeah.
have to get rid of that stigma of like, oh, like, no, 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 no. It's a forbidden subject. No, no, dude, you've got to talk about it. You've got
Yeah.
to make sure that stuff is in order. It's peace of mind is worth 1,000 like sons for me.
Mhm.
And getting people to understand that is why we keep having these conversations, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay, so well, now you told me how you got into this line of work, so this makes a lot more sense for me. um, what would you say to somebody who like first got hired? What would you tell them? If they reached out to you and said, like, I need some help with this. What's the first thing you would say to them?
I would say let's bring in everything, your total encompassed financial realm right now, where you're at. Let's look at it. And then let's look at where you want to go, and we've got to connect this, point A and point B somewhere, right? And that's our roadmap to get to. Um, so that we're on the same page and that even if it looks like you're in lot of debt or your things you're ashamed of or back taxes or child support or anything it is, let's just lay it on the table, right? Because I'm not the one you need to impress or lie to, or I'm going to love you no matter what you got. I know what it's like. I mean, I know what it's like to feel shame and feel like you did all the things wrong and blah, blah, blah. So let's start with where you're at because then we can move forward, and
Yeah,
just own it.
this is a safe space here, everyone.
It's a safe
Okay.
space. I have messed up so much, so you're fine.
Oh, I love that. What is a small step someone can take this month to just like feel more confident about their future with finances specifically? I mean, obviously there's so much chaos happening, and I think a lot of people are like scared to move, scared to like move their money around, scared to buy a house, scared to do all of those things. Like, what would you tell them to feel like a little bit safer?
Ooh, I think I would look at all of my variable cost, right? All the things that like, do I need this? Do I not need this? All the things that I can actually, without turning off the lights in my home, really get real with all of those subscription costs, credit card costs, extra costs, coffee costs, and actually write all of that down because there's gold in there, right? There's a lot of gold. And my business is called Inner Gold. So we find that inner gold, right? And that is so empowering because number one, it really makes you face possibly the things that are excess that maybe you just haven't really wanted to look at and you just let it run automatic payments or whatnot. But it actually turns out to being something that potentially, $100 a week, $400 a month, potentially could build to an enormous amount over just a year's time that you didn't even do anything except turn one thing off and then allocate the money somewhere else. So it feels like for me, it feels like that's the moment people feel a little bit more empowered for where they're at because it's really doable.
That is actually brilliant. Honestly, I've been meaning to do it myself. I'm not going to lie, because I know it's like, what is this reoccurring charge? Okay, I'll figure it out. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
wait. What is this recurring charge? Okay, okay.
Okay.
Why do we have 2 Hulu accounts? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, yeah. I mean, it's just getting really, it's like, it's just really cleaning up more
Yeah.
so than, I love my most favorite author is Courtney Carver. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she wrote a book called Soulful Simplicity. And she always, less is more, less is more. Get more off your plate than on your plate. It's not about buying the extra tote to, put more shit away to organize. It's about not buying the tote and get rid of the stuff, right? Get clear. There's clarity in that. So that's our first step.
Okay, that's brilliant. So what you're saying is I should stop buying totes. Get rid of the
Yes.
shit. Okay,
Just get rid
great.
of the shit.
Oh,
Because
yeah, I
think about
know.
I mean, if it's stuff that you're really, that could be a
No,
whole other podcast.
get an organization person on here for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the emotion of all of that stuff that weighs you down, right? It's just crazy. And so for me, when I read that book, I'd be embarrassed to show you because there's so many tabs like on the book itself. It's just ridiculous of how
That's
much
how you know it's good though.
it's so good. And
Mhm.
I anything I buy now when I bring into our life, it has to make a very rigid, like I love this thing or it has the value. It's not going to just get dust somewhere or need to be in a tote somewhere or everything. Everything I have has a meaning of where it's at and is displayed where it's supposed to be. And I have less of it and it's just perfect, it's just easy and like manageable. So I think
Yeah.
that's the key is feeling more manageable in your life.
Well, yeah, and I think what you said, like, too, it's like you clear out the shit, it also clears out your mind, right? So it's
Yeah.
like the more free you are from all of the garbage around you, it also frees the garbage in your head too.
Right.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to read that book. I'll put that
Oh,
book in the show notes too.
yes.
Okay.
She was so good. And she came out with another one I have. It's called Enough. And she just came out with it last year. So that one's a follow up and just, it's just, she's
Okay.
amazing. She's
Great.
definitely
We're
great.
adding to the reading.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. I love. What is it like for you now to be on this side of the podcast? Since you were a listener before, um, and now that you're on like this side, what's it like?
It's pretty surreal. I'll have to say that. But then at the same time, I feel like I manifested it in some way. Like I feel like we had connection and that it takes connection to get the message out, and it's just this ongoing spread of community that I want people to feel like they belong to and that they can relate to, and it
Yeah.
really has turned for me like into kind of my own passion project too at home. Like, what can I do here? How can I create that with other people because it's been so important to me too, so it's like anything else, like you've light this torch, but like you can't hold the weight of everything, right? you're
Yes.
you're exhausted, you've got so much going on too,
Yes.
and you're like, I'm holding the weight of this community and I need more people to like help share in um that process, because the way this works is that we continue to like have people in charge in their own world to bring that community together. So that's what it's really felt for me of like what my responsibility is now to share this, with others.
I love that. And that is literally the best way to put it is like, yeah, there were, those of us who kind of like we lit the torch and now it's so fun to watch, especially my bias is gonna come out here, but
Yeah.
especially the women in this, fire family who have taken that torch and keep running with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's literally like the Olympic torch when, you go from city to city and walk with it and you take it to the next city. And it's been so beautiful to see just how many positive community efforts have come out of that
Yeah.
little torch that
Love
was
that.
lit. Um, So, I mean, very thankful for you in spaces like this where, you're having those tough conversations with the firefighters and their families and really getting their finances in order and getting them to understand like how important it is. Because, I don't know how many times we could say, like, we know the sacrifice they make and we know the possibilities. And it's so important for us to just take that one little, proactive step into really just getting our shit together,
Yes.
so we can just breathe a tiny sigh of relief at the end of the day.
Right.
Um, so I ask everybody on the podcast this question. Um, I think there was like 2 episodes I forgot, but never mind. I remember now, okay? Um, what do you want your legacy to be? Like for you, for your family, everywhere.
That I showed up, that I was there, that
So good.
I was present and uh made moments count. Like the one thing that I learned after my dad passed away, it's so interesting. There is definitely this voice always in the back of my head, just always reminding me um just what a miracle this life really is and how fragile things are. And in just moments, it can change. And it makes me emotional, but it also just fires me up because it's
Yep.
like, it just makes me want to really um, l- let people feel me there for them. And that no matter what, I showed up for them.
That's beautiful. I love that. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Okay, any final thoughts?
I think going right back to what you right before you asked that is getting help,
Mhm.
but which is awesome, and finding somebody that's really in your corner that's going to help you get there.
Mhm.
But I can only lead you to the gym. I can't lead you to get that workout done, right? So it's a proactive partnership no matter who you're with in order for
Mm,
them to make this successful, right?
yeah,
You can blame me, oh, I didn't know, or I forgot to look, or like all of those things, but the the thing about it is we're going to work together, is I'm not going to let you stay in the dark anymore. And if you choose to stay in the dark on your own terms, then this partnership's not going to work and maybe you're not a good fit. And that's
mm,
going to be a dynamic throughout, like probably all the things that you're going to do. You've got to proactively get involved and you've got to work through the fear, right?
yes,
So that is so important. And on that other side of fear is the empowerment that you're going to feel that you want from this, but you've got to be able to, like, hang on through it. So there's a
yes. Oh my
lot of
gosh,
possibility.
so good. Okay, where can people reach you?
Awesome. So so you can find me online. My new website's coming out in about 2 weeks. So
Okay.
it's right now it's a page that's holding, and it's innergoaltexas.com or innergoaltex. If you forget to spell it either way, you can still find me there. There's a link in there for Taxdome that you can start a new profile. It has a little questionnaires, and then it will alert me, and then we can sign up and have a phone chat and see where your goals are and move forward.
Are you Oregon only, or are you like nationwide or
No, so
anywhere?
that's the great thing about being an enrolled agent, is that I'm actually can work in all 50 states. Some states have a little bit
Beautiful.
different, like as far as filing requirement for me or whatever, but um, that's the big difference with between an enrolled agent and a CPA, is I get to work in all 50. And so I have a lot of clients in Texas because that's where I work with my brother right now as well, and then Oregon as well. So a little bit in Washington too. So all 50 states is it's great.
Nice.
hmm
Okay, and are you on Instagram or is that just your personal?
So I am on Instagram. It's so sad. So please don't, like, just tell me how sad it is, because that's what I'm revamping. I just have been so lucky in some realms not to even have to put myself out there, but
Which
we're
is
ready to
amazing.
grow now. So I'm excited to take this in a different way. And I think I mentioned to you that my husband now is an enrolled agent
You
too.
did. Mhm.
Um, he's so funny. He got the certificate and he thought he was gonna need a badge with it. He was like, "Where's my badge?" And I'm like, "Baby, you don't get a badge." He thought he was like the accountant, like Ben Affleck or something. Like he's like would like be on secret missions and stuff. I'm like, well, we could do a forensic accounting. Like
I'll make you a badge, okay?
I said, I'll get you one. Yeah.
It'll be like a
So
Zootopia badge, but whatever. Like,
bullet vest and stuff. I was like, "Baby, we do
oh
taxes.
my
We
God.
don't we're not going in
I
anywhere."
love him. Sweet, sweet man. Oh my God.
So he's very excited, which I'm excited too. That makes me so happy. And that's part of his retirement, also like letting that go a little. Now he has this little like thing he's looking forward to, which is really exciting. And it really, the way that it has shaped is actually he sees that he's still helping people, but it's in a different way, right?
Yes.
So there's
Yeah.
still this really strong purpose through it all,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And
That's so good.
anyway, it's funny.
He's so cute. Oh my gosh. I'm
So
gonna send
back
you
to
a
the
sticker.
Instagram. Yes, there's Instagram with Inner Gold. And again, it's just getting revamped. So a couple weeks and it will all look brand new.
Awesome. We'll tag it in the show notes and I'll tag you on Instagram too.
Thank you.
Um, it's so nice to talk with you,
Oh
seriously.
man,
And
thank you.
honestly, y'all, if you are looking for a finance coach, I'd say coach is the way to go, honestly. I definitely need somebody to hold my hand through this kind of stuff because it's very overwhelming even for me. I mean, I'm in this industry, it's still just like, oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah.
Somebody just hold my hand and tell me what to do, please.
I hear you. Especially strategy. When you're talking tax strategy, it's just so important to get the right person. A lot of people don't even know what enrolled agents are, which I'm constantly telling them, what I do and what my background is. And the comparison, CPAs are great too. They just have a wider, knowledge, but their
Mhm.
specific knowledge in tax law in their program is about like between 150 to 200 hours, maybe. But when you get an enrolled agent, that's over 5 to 600 hours of just tax law preparation strategy, like all of those things. So it's so great to work with somebody that really understands. It's not about beating the system, it's about strategizing to know how to position yourself. And that's the person you really want, like in your
Yeah,
corner, you know?
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, okay.
Okay.
I think we got
Thank you
everything.
so
Thank you
much.
so
You're
much.
amazing.
Oh my gosh, no, thank you. I look forward to working with you. And if anybody listening or watching, you can always DM me, and I can get you guys in touch too. Anything to get our little fire family a little bit more understanding of their finances is always a
There
good
you
thing.
go. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.